I'm doing a dashy dance. He'd be like, all right, what's popping, y'all? What's good? I'm here chilling. I'm eating an al pastor, a burrito al pastor, as they call it. Mmm, my ass hungry, so I'm gonna eat. I had a long day, and I'm enjoying myself. Overwatch 2, the new season's out. It's lit in a good and bad way. And I hope you guys are doing solid. Um, excuse me. I'm just chilling right now. But first and foremost, again, I really appreciate you guys for commenting and watching my videos. I'm really grateful that you guys find value in just having my videos in the background while you guys draw, play games or whatever it is. That's my goal with this thing. I don't really have time to like hyper edit this stuff, but maybe in the future, I might, but yeah, man, it is all raw, unfiltered. And the al pastor, the burrito al pastor, mucho, mucho gusto. Mi español muy poquito. Habla poquito. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm trying to get my Spanish up. But hey, it's a good ass night. It's a good ass day. My girl's out taking care of business, doing what she got to do, and I'm here chilling with y'all, answering some few questions. I had an amazing week. It's always like that. I always dread waking up Monday. I got to do this, and that. But once I'm there, and I'm I just have the privilege to be teaching people how to draw and paint. And when I'm there, I'm like, man, this is amazing. What privilege it is for me to be in the position that I am. So I don't complain. I will complain sometimes, just situationally. I might complain about a few things, but I'm very grateful. I could be in a position where I just like dread and hate my job. And I hope wherever you guys are, that you get to find peace and joy with whatever it is that you do. Doesn't matter if you work a 9 to 5. Doesn't matter if you work a part-time. Doesn't matter if you work from home. Maybe you don't have a job. Maybe you're just straight chilling. If that's the case, chill what you got to do, but also do what you got to do. Okay, so anyways, I'm just hyped. Again, I'm in good spirits. Hope you guys are too. I'm just going to, I have a video playing in the background. Excuse me. I have a video playing in the background. I'm drawing using a Sharpie. Where is this thing? I'm using a Sharpie here, and I'm trying to draw a purveyor of curiosities, a trinket master, if you will. So, yeah, man. One thing I want to say, this burrito is hitting. I always say that the more crime there is in a city, the better the food. I got this in a spot. I think it's called El Compita by Pico, close to Venice and Crenshaw in LA, I think. But it is like, there's gang graffiti everywhere. You better watch out. But the business owners there, they're all nice and they're cool. So if you ever come down to LA, just make sure you watch your back when you go out to some of these places. The food will be good, but your dome might not be. When that hollow point be pointing, no, I'm just kidding. Anyways, yeah, man, let me go over some comments. I just wanted to address some of these. I can't get through every one of these, But again, I am truly grateful. I can't get through every comment because I might just miss it. And this week has been so busy for me. But besides all that, Hawk 7, Hawk 7, not certain if you will see this, but I need a third party opinion. I know it's early to be thinking about this as I'm still in high school, but in the end, the early bird gets the worm. I've been consistently drawing my whole life, and it's been a dream to get into the art industry, whether it be concept art or animation. But in the current economy and with AI looming around the corner, it's risky. On the other side, I he wants to have a well-paying job, family engineering business that I can work for in the future. Oh, okay. So you have your family kind of owns an engineering business that you can potentially work for. I'm really torn on this. What's your opinion? Okay, I'm gonna go into detail, but the short answer is whatever it is that your soul, your heart, your gut desires, that is what you should go with. So if stability, safety, and something that's a sure thing, which is going into well-paying family engineering business. So if you can get into the engineering business and work towards a future and you can have a family, you can have income, that's cool too, right? That is your prerogative. That doesn't mean that you can't do that and do art at the same time. But if you're trying to, let's say, go full ham, go full force with art, I would ask myself, is art something that you're just truly passionate about, that you see yourself doing, even if you don't make a lot of money? Because the truth is, when you first do art and you're trying to make a living, you're not going to see money for a long time. Some people might not ever see it, and that is the reality of it all. Maybe you're just not under the right circumstances to get the proper knowledge and the education. Maybe you're just not surrounded by people who can push you. But with the advent of technology and the internet, you're connected to so many resources online that you can make it. It is very hard to. The making it as an artist. Oh wait, hold on. So the reality is that art is really hard to make a living, especially if you're not consistent and diligent about your work. There's a lot of people who are artists, but there's also a lot of people who don't make a lot. And I don't think it's because art in itself is something that's hard to sell. I think a lot of it has to do with so much more. What is the narrative with your art? Who are you as an artist? Why should people buy your stuff? Who do you relate and connect with when it comes to your craft? Whether you write songs, whether you write books, you do comics, you create video content, it's all about like finding people who value the work that you do. And a lot of times like people just don't know who it is that's going to look at their work, who's going to appreciate the work that they do. So you might find yourself in a situation where you're not getting the proper knowledge and know how to get all the technical skills to create the things that you want to do. It could be your environment, it could be your schooling, just whatever it might be. But it is hard. Like when you're going into engineering or if you're going to the medical field, there's a roadmap of the possibilities and what you can do. You go to school, you do this, this, and this, and then now you're in nursing or whatever. Like you pass these tests, you do these studies, and that's hard on its own too. Not to say like be getting a PhD is easy. That's really hard. There's a lot of studying. But as long as like you are very diligent with your work, you're consistent, you work hard, you're kind of guaranteed to be in these positions. I mean, maybe not, but general that is the case. With art, that is not the case. You could be going to school for 4 years or taking classes left and right, and you might never find a job. there is no sure path in the industry. When you get out of school, there is no like, yes, now that you know this, now you are part of this research group, and because you're part of this research group, you're now part of this company where they do these things and they create art. It's not like that. There is a lot of first of all, there's a lot of like who you know, how good you are, and who you are. And being at the right place at the right time does help too. But at the beginning, like you just have to spend a lot of time working on your craft. If you were to spend 2 years, I would say like 2 years, or maybe a little bit less, of daily 8 to 10 hours of practice, study, and work on art, you can become a pro who can do, you can be hired for jobs. Some people might think that like that's crazy, but that I mean that's what it is. There's a lot of people who do that. I definitely used to practice a lot like under my mentorship, and I got my first job out of um, uh, out of my education, my mentorship program. But also it was hard because I needed to get better. I knew that I still wasn't good enough. I was still lacking fundamentals. And so after that job, I had to do freelance and I got some freelance stuff, but it's hard to like submit your portfolio to a place. And if your portfolio is lacking or it's not up to their standard, you're not going to get the job. It is competitive. So I had to realize that and I had to go back and practice fundamentals. To this day, I still practice fundamentals, but it's a constant iteration process of self discovery and getting better. But there are people who are like straight as an arrow and they work so hard and they know what it is they need to work in, and those people are fine. If you're a good designer and you have good technical abilities, people are always going to look out for people like that to create stuff, to work on projects, to design things. um, and evidence of this is like I have friends and I know people who are in this position in concept art. At the highest level of concept art, there's only a few people within that upper echelon that get all the jobs. This is like people who work in film, people who work like top tier video games. Like you got your Maciej Kuchera, you got Jama Jurabev, you got people who work for Sony or whoever, right? Like you got your Six More Vodka. Um, like these guys are like on top of their game, and they're booked for years. They always have projects, but that's the thing, like they're always busy. It's really competitive. Concept art is really competitive at the lowest level. So amongst the average people who are doing concept art, it is so competitive and chances of you getting a job is very small because the at the top, the where the money is, where people who work in these high budget projects, they want the best of the best and they want things done yesterday. So these top concept artists they're always looking up like the latest trends of technology so they can push their work to even make it faster and easier for them. And it is competitive, but if you're at the top, there isn't much competition because you're already there. So all the job is like pulled here, like all the people at Marvel, like all those guys, top of their game. But if you're low here and you're trying to get into that kind of industry, it is very competitive. So you have to work triple times as hard. Um, but you can do it, right? Like you can do these things. Hold on, is that a spider? Excuse me. Sorry, I got some homies. I have them walking around doing their thing because they keep the house, away from pests. But so that I will put things into reality. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and be like, yeah, everything's going to be all sunshine and rainbows. By the time you go to school, you get your bachelor's, your master's, and your doctorates, like it that takes a while. But by the time you make some kind of money where you can pay the bills, you could have gotten it, you could have gotten your PhD. Like some of the stuff like takes a while, but that's the thing. This is something that's going to take time, and a lot of students who go into art school and they're learning, they get so anxious about the final semester because now they're worried about not getting the job. And they're right. They're right to be worried because, and I tell this to like my students, and it's not to be discouraging because I have to be honest. Like 90% of people don't get jobs, maybe even more, like right out of school. And sometimes it's not about skill. Sometimes it's just circumstance. Maybe the company isn't working on something that aligns with your your art style, but it also could be that you just don't have the technical ability and the know-how to design proper. Um, it's a lot of things. It could be like the right people didn't see your work. They didn't, or they didn't come to your senior show and they just missed your work. They just walked right past you. Just all these things. But you can't, if you decide to do this, like you can't be discouraged. Like you can feel it, you can feel bummed out, but just trust me when I say that just keep working and work diligently and be passionate about what you do and constantly surround yourself with like-minded people. You're going to get hired for something, or better yet, it's often better that you work on your own stuff because that is going to draw attention to your work when you're working on a book, a project. And I'm not talking like here are some character designs and this is a story that I wrote. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like something that feels like it exists. You got some concept art, you got storyboards, you got keyframes, and then you tell narrative. It feels like an official like art book of a movie, or even a like a official book that you've made of a story that you've created. That feels nowadays like I'd say creating a book like that is like the new portfolio. Just having like characters, you have to add some context, more context to the narrative of your project, that when people look at it, it feels like this exists already, rather than it being like, oh, that would be cool, but I'm still not sure how this would turn out. Um, so it is hard. It is really hard, and you have to make the choice whether you want to, whether it's more important for you to have like a family and have a stable job and have something that's sure for yourself. And I don't knock people for doing that. Some people are good, like working a 9 to 5. They like their company job and they go home. They could have brunch and mimosas with the homies. They can go on vacation. Like that, who wouldn't pass up on that? Like you got a good paying job. You can live life and hang out and enjoy your weekends. Um, and then the other side is like if you don't mind, like knowing that you're not going to make money for a while and you creating something is more important to you, and and if that's something that calls to you, then like you should try it. You should definitely do it. A lot of people I know stop because for them like reality hits them. And then they do they go back to the thing that is, I would say, maybe it's more aligned with their pace. um, but there's so many avenues to art. Like when it comes to work in STEM or like medical or wherever, there's always like a baseline of what people are being paid. And there's a little bit of that depending on the art industry you go into, like graphic design or design posters. But you could be paid shit money, or you could be paid as much money as like a doctor. The the degree of which of you getting paid can be so varied. And nobody has this shit figured out. Like all these people on YouTube, these artists, like when you go to Lightbox and they're talking like, yeah, 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 like all you got to do is A, B, and C. It's like that does work. That does work, but everybody's circumstances are different, and there is no like formula. Especially now with the growing advent of AI, like what is that the implications of that? But just trust me when I say this. Like if you practiced and you work diligently on your craft and you have good problem solving skills regarding creating designs, because that's at the end of it, like when you're doing concept art and they give you a prompt, they give you a story, you're trying to solve a problem to make the world believable and exist. If you can do that, you're always going to be valued. You'll be more valued than the fucking AI guys. Like nowadays, like if this can give you some kind of hope, just know that the standard of art now is so fucking low because all these people are using AI and they all look like generative shit and they all look the same without even like creative input. It's not even like the AI itself. It's just they're just so lazy with the creativity of like using the AI. But for my own work, when I do my own projects, I use everything by hand. I try to sketch and paint as much as I can on hand, and then I will paint digitally or draw digitally. But these people can't even do that. And they just try to solve their problems by having somebody else do it for you. Like you're a glorified art director. And then when it's time to do iterations on changes on designs and making like different ideas, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how a car engine works. They don't understand how mech design works. So when it comes to making and changing designs, they can't do it. And it all ends up looking the same. It's the standard is so low. Like the Ghibli filter thing was a big trend. Like everybody was using that. And people were so impressed. They're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now? This is everybody's work is going to look the same. It's not even their work. It looks the same." Like when I saw that Lord of the Rings Ghibli trailer, my mouth dropped. Not because of like, oh, AI is gonna take over the animation industry. It's not so much that, but it's mostly just like, this is what you guys find impressive. Like the standard is so fucking low that if you have an inkling of a personality now as an artist, you will stand out amongst all the average people. But if you try to set yourself as average, you will only produce average work that the AI can do better or more, or as average as you can do, or if not a little bit better than what you can do. If you stay average, like don't be lazy about your work. Also, laziness. No, it's not lazy. Just give more tender love and care with what it is that you do, and trust me, man. Like you will have more of a presence. Um, so, anyways, I hope that kind of gives you some kind of vision. I could talk more about it some other video, and yeah. Let me know if you need anything, man. Like, good luck to you. And man, engineering, like going into that sounds sick as hell. Hell yeah, man. Thank you. Okay. All right, Daniel Bloom, 2514. Dude, I love your video. It's so good. Thanks for making me company during my drawing session. That is the purpose, man. I appreciate you, Daniel. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Um, okay. Okay. Ginger Alice, 3858. Love your style and the way you put ideas onto paper, and your stories are really worth listening to, as well as your insight. There are a lot of art channels on YouTube that talk about a lot of nothing or various drama online, but I appreciate what you have to say as someone who watches a lot of art YouTube because I quit drawing years ago after I had a seizure. Always wanted to try again, but it frustrated me so much when I got out of the hospital and couldn't even draw straight lines anymore. I admit I gave up, but I would like to try again. Someday, maybe today. Ginger Alice, thank you so much for your comment, and I'm sorry you had a terrible incident regarding your seizure, and I truly mean this. Like I hope you are doing well. And I'm not just saying that to be like positivity. I truly mean it. Like I hope what I mean by you doing well is your health and your mind. Your mind is so important. Um, and regarding your art, like you mentioned how it's frustrating. I can only imagine how discouraging it is. I don't know what that like is like. I can only imagine how frustrating it would be because you kind of just give up. You're like, well, what's the point? It's like imagine if I'm like a runner, if I like to run track and I lose my legs. What does that do to someone? But if you can, you should just pick up that pencil and just start creating for yourself. It's not about drawing straight lines. If anything, there some of my favorite work. There was a manga called Tekkon Kinkreet. It's this anime. You can't find it on streaming anymore, but it has some of the best art direction. It's my one of my favorite stories. See if I can find it. But the art style is so sick. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, this is Tekkon Kinkreet desu. Tekkon Kinkreet. See that? Boom. It's a goated manga. This is um, the 30th anniversary edition. This character, his name is Black. This character, his name is White. Like they're brothers. They're kind of like twins, and they're orphans. It's a really sad story about them trying to save up money so they can live a better life. It's a very sad story, but I love this story. But the art style, I love this so much. It's so cool. Like look at this. Hold on. Can you guys see? Look how cool that is, man. And the art style is not realistic, and it's not about making accuracy. Art is all about how you interpret things. And when you see some of these drawings, there are no straight lines. A lot of it is just there's a lot of squiggliness to the art style. Yeah, I'll show you. If I could even find like even like this. I mean, some parts are straight, but even like the lines, like look at that leg, right? Like, but it's so cool. I love that. People often think like realism is what makes art good, but if you're just making something that looks realistic, then why not just use a printer? If you're just a professional printer, it's all about how you interpret life. It's how you express your vision. How do you express the idea of like grief through line? How do you express pain and suffering through line work? You know, but yeah, it's so good. I highly recommend you check out this manga. It's one of my favorites. And Alice, Ginger Alice, you could create. They create for you. Oftentimes, like people, I believe like people are born to create things, like to write, to share stories, to make music, um, to share ideas, to have debate, and to draw and paint, because there's something in us that fuels that creativity, and there's a feeling there. I can't even describe it. I think it's maybe because you're constantly going through self-discovery and realization, and everybody can relate to this when you're creating. Is like, oh, my work sucks, this sucks. Like you start off with like a cool idea, and then you're just struggling. Oh, this sucks. I don't know if this people are gonna like this. Oh, this looks like shit. And then at the end, once you like finish, you're like, that's not bad, right? It's like that 99% of the time it's trash, but then that 1% you're like, you know what, this is worth it. Even if you're not making a lot of money. I don't think we're meant to consume so much as to we're meant to like create more than we consume. So I know you feel it. There's a calling coming to you. That's why you made that comment. Your soul is speaking to you. And I would go with that. You got to listen to your soul. So thank you, Alice. I hope, I truly wish you a long, good, prosperous journey, and do not wish for an easy life. Always wish for strength to endure difficult ones, which you have shown great strength, um, with everything that you've gone through. So I appreciate you, Ginger Alice. Um, Love this when I'm drawing. Cordy Jonte, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Cormac, my brother. Cormac, how you been, my brother, man? It's been a hot minute. I hope your family's doing well. Um, Man, I always think about your your wood burnt etching drawings. Like it's so sick how you do that, and I that's what I want to learn. You know, that's fucking art. That's so sick, dude. But I appreciate you. I hope all is well with you, man. We all miss you. And hell yeah. Hell yeah. Um okay. Let's see. So no ceiling. Deltarune. Adoro. Deltarune. I don't know. But anyways, again, I appreciate everybody for commenting. Let me see here. Oh, one thing here I see. Lowell or Rizzy X. I have a question. If I went to like a college or university and I went there for art, if I get a crappy teacher, will that ruin my love for art? Because I want to go to school for art after high school, but I'm scared because what if the person that's supposed to be teaching me shuts down my want to create? If I'm understanding this, are you worried that your teacher might dismiss your vision or exploration and him or her or they inserting their own stuff like no 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 don't do that, you got to do this? Is that what you're referring to? Maybe if I'm understanding this. But I'm scared because what if the person that's supposed to be teaching me shuts down my want to create? um, and you said that if you get a crappy teacher that will ruin my love for art. That is a possibility. That is possible. um, what if you are, well, that could happen. That definitely can happen. There are people out there who should not be teaching. And I'm not saying that they lack skill or anything, but there are people out there who just don't care for the student's livelihood and like what makes them tick. So like when I teach, I have students who want to do concept. I have students who want to do comics or storyboarding and whatever it is that they like. Some students just like to like draw dolls or they like to do furries. Like I'm like that's cool because my job is to give you the tools to help propel whatever it is that you're doing. I don't know if furry art is, I mean, I know actually furry art, you make a shit ton of money, but I don't know that business, right? So I can't say, like, no, you shouldn't do that. If that's what you like to do, then you're never going to make it. There are people who will say that, but do not listen to these people. They don't fucking know. How do they know? They've never done it. And if they did do it, they're projecting their failures onto you. Like they just because they haven't figured it out doesn't mean that you won't. But in terms of getting a crappy art teacher, there's a chance that you might, but I would recommend at the very least like just take in their input and ask yourself, is this person genuinely trying to improve my craft or are they just shutting me down completely? Um, Now, it's one thing if they give you an assignment that's specific and you don't meet the criteria at all, and you instead of doing like we want you to do a creature design, and this is the criteria you have to meet, you end up doing like a sculpt of a car, or I don't know, like something that has nothing to do with creature design, and then you said this is what I want to do. I'm like, well, that wasn't the assignment. Like this, it's a great car. It is amazing looking car, but you didn't do the assignment. Like if that's the case, then yeah, that's more of a person type issue. But if you're more worried about um, you're willing to learn, but then a teacher is just shutting down your dreams, that is a bad teacher. I would I would just approach it as if like just listen and see if they're really trying to help you, because people who care about you, they do, they genuinely want to help you. I definitely want to help students, and I never shut students down for bad ideas. Instead, I would always question their intentions, and because if you came up with an idea, I'm so hyped. I'm like, yo, hell yeah! Like that idea that you had, like I want to know more about this thing. So why do you want to do this thing? What does it mean for you? How can we make this better? Oh, what if we do this, this, and this? So, and I want to brainstorm because I want to make whatever the idea that they came up with possibly the best thing that they can make for themselves. Because I don't know. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I can't say, nah, that's not going to work because who knows? All I can do is like teach them how to communicate to an audience through composition, technical abilities, and whatnot. So um, I wouldn't be afraid if you end up having a bad teacher, then try your best to maybe you could change a teacher. If you don't vibe with the teacher, then just you're gonna have to change teachers by talking to the school and saying like I would like to switch to somebody else. Um, yeah, I hope that helps. I hope that helps. But yes, you might get teachers who are bad. Um, but it also depends. You never know. You might have some teachers who. What if you have teachers who are really good and they're out to help you out? There's that outlook too. Um, and sometimes not all teachers who challenge your vision isn't out to shut you down. There's that case too. So thank you, Lowell or Rizzy. Appreciate you, man. So I'm gonna keep it at that. I'm gonna keep it a buck with that. Uh, yeah, man, it's been awesome. I did not expect to get the kind of feedback from people. Like it's good. I really appreciate you guys for having this in the background while you guys do your own thing. And if you guys have any questions for me, like let me know and I'll try to address them. Um, One thing I want to say before I end the video is about people. I've been thinking about this recently. How people, I don't understand how people can watch something like a good film about a good moral message. Let's say a movie like you got your Schindler's List, you got like your Superman, you got your superhero movies, you got like your good animes, you got your Demon Slayer, your Dragon Ball, and the central theme of these stories is about like being good and also looking within yourself with your own faults and like overcoming these things and still choose to be actively be a shitty person. I'm not talking like you got to be a perfect being. Like I'm not saying like yeah I learned from all of my mistakes and I'm perfect. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like you actively like you can watch a movie like Schindler's List or something and you still choose to like abuse your spouse or talk down on your parents or talk down on your friends like on a constant basis and just not look within yourself and choose like you know what I gotta change. Like never reflect. Like you can like never reflect and be like you know what I don't want to be like that. How can you watch a movie like Lord of the Rings and like choose to be like like a person who's always abusing others or using other people? Like how could you do that? Like you actively choose to do that because I thought about it because there's you got motherfuckers like this walking around who think they're the main character and they just think like they can do no wrong. Um, and still actively participate saying like yeah I'm okay using people, I'm okay taking advantage of people. Like if any of you guys are worried like Moish, are you going through something? No, 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 it's not that. I just thought about it. Like I was just because you think about a lot of every day there's like bad news, you hear stories or you have siblings or you have loved ones, friends or whatever, and some of these people are actively like trying to sabotage and just be shitty to you. And like, how could you read fiction or bibliographies or whatever and and still not take in anything? How can you not take it and like learn for yourself to push yourself and strive and be better? Like I don't get it. Like just a little bit. Like, we're not perfect, but just like, come on, man. Like, anyways, just a thought. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, I appreciate y'all. I'll catch you guys on the flip. Bye bye. I love you. Bye bye.